As a student, I kept asking myself what the meaning of life is and why I was born in Germany and not in another country. The first thing I did was to look for answers in science. Unfortunately, without success, because in which country and under which conditions a person is born is for modern science determined by coincidence. Nobel Prize-winning scientists of today believe that the human being is a more highly developed animal. He follows unconscious impulses and consciousness is only a consequence of brain processes, so laws of nature. For these scientists, life is a meaningless random sequence of events. It is haphazard, chaotic, and absolutely unjust. Let's think about the word coincidence. For today's scientists, coincidence means that he doesn't know what the cause of an event is. He can't record the cause for an event with his instruments, and he can't explain the cause for an event with the theories of natural science either. He reaches the edge of the materialistic worldview and must conclude that the cause for an event cannot be found within matter. Modern science cannot answer the crucial questions of being human. What is the meaning of life? Why am I here? What happens after death? Why is ethics important? What is behind my destiny? Is there a plan for the development of human consciousness? Answers can be found in spiritual books and sacred writings from all over the world. The universal genius Rudolf Steiner founded spiritual science at the beginning of the 20th century. Steiner could see the invisible spheres we enter after death as clearly as you and I perceive our outer world. He investigated the higher worlds by scientific methods. His books and lectures give logical answers to all important questions of life. I will summarize in simple words what Steiner writes about karma and human destiny. There are infinite beings in the divine cosmos that we can't see. There are beings that don't use a physical body. Everything that exists can be traced back to living beings. As humans, we are part of this divine order. We are spiritual beings and come from the supersensible spiritual world. Our physical body is a miraculous work. It was developed and built by the highest spiritual beings in the hierarchy. We as human beings use this piece of wonder to further develop our consciousness. We gain experience in the physical world as terranauts. Death of the physical body is only the shedding of a shell and the beginning of the journey back to the spiritual home. The real you, the eternal spirit, is immortal. It is God's plan that in the distant future we will evolve into angels, higher evolved spiritual beings. To become angels, we have to learn many things. Above all, we must learn to control our three basic forces: thinking, willing, and feeling. We must learn to distinguish the true from the untrue and the good from the evil. Mastering free thought and free thinking is the key to learning this discernment. We are tested in life because of this. As spiritual beings, if we don't do what the divine plan intends, we face unpleasant experiences. Satanic and Luciferic beings exist to challenge us on God's behalf, to distract us from the essential and to conquer our thinking. Our future destiny depends on the actions, thoughts and feelings of previous earth lives. This is destiny, karma, or the law of cause and effect. Prior to our arrival on Earth, we prepare our Earth mission with the higher hierarchies. In the spiritual world, the deep will of oneself is to learn the lessons from past Earth lives and to compensate for the pain we have inflicted on others. A human being chooses for his incarnation exactly the family that best fits the karmic tasks. Especially in the first half of his life, he will come together with people he already knows from past lives on Earth. The karmic framework is set like this. We incarnate in a very specific environment with very specific dispositions. By the face of a person, by his temperament, and by the abilities he develops, one can read karmic effects of past Earth lives. However, the connections are much more complex than it's presented to us in many esoteric books. Mysterious metamorphoses take place over the incarnations. The principle of metamorphosis is universal. We find it in the spiritual as in the physical. All over the universe, things transform according to hidden principles. For the human being, the seriousness of life begins in the early 30s. We have then arrived completely and now stand in full responsibility. We have become fully human, gifted with intellect, feeling and consciousness, and from midlife we are tinkering with our future as spiritual beings. Now we can develop in creative freedom or surrender to physical decay without spiritual effort. It begins our freedom. The plan of God is that we become honorable spirits of freedom and thus integrate ourselves into the divine hierarchy.